we're obviously doing this today. My throat's a little crackly today. I got a little bit of hay fever. So I'm going to sound a bit funny in this video for a little bit. Well, what are we going to do with this ambulance today? Well, as of this morning, I discovered that the roof leaks somewhere, one of these old vents up the front here. So I had to do something about that. But that is less important because we have roadworthy inspection items to do. Now, I've already done a few things already. And we have a weeping brake line that I can't find. But the big ticket items we've got to do today are the boot for the rear drive shaft. That would be the slip joint. I'm going to have to modify this boot to fit it. It's a power steering boot that I got from Repco. This big bearing has arrived too. This is the main or the center bearing for the rear drive shaft of 3, because it's a 6-wheel drive. So we're going to have to take the whole drive shaft off entirely to do that. So I may end up taking both sections of that rear drive shaft off and give everything a good grease up and clean up and do all this stuff off the vehicle. It's going to be fun because I've only got a couple of hours to do this before I've got to actually move this vehicle again. So yeah, it's something I haven't done before, like most of these things. So I have taken the liberty, however, of finding all the mechanical diagrams here, highlighting relevant bits and finding all the particulars that I need to know to remove this whole center bearing shaft here. So, oh sorry, the center shaft bearing. I get my words a little bit wrong when I'm talking on the fly because I'm not working off a script. So, I've got my grease gun here, I've got most of the tools I need, and a big fat rattle gun, so hopefully we'll be right. But it was going to be raining today, and it's finally come out sunny, so that's good. Yeah, one of the big things I am discovering is, like my soft top 4x4, these things always leak. So we are going to have some jobs in the future surrounding getting the leaks out of the thing. I notice even now there's one that's coming through the top here, so there's going to be a bit to do. Anyway, let's get on with it. Alright, so we're underneath and we're looking at towards the front of the vehicle here. Now, the mechanics that did my roadworthy seem to think this would be a fairly easy job. I think they meant simple. It is simple, but this drive shaft's heavy and I've got to pull this entire drive shaft off. So I've got to undo it from the rear axle there, and then I've got to undo these sections and then all the way up here. Now it will be very easy to grease once it's out, but crucially, I don't know if I can get this out on my own. It could be a little heavy, and it intersects the exhaust here as well. So without a hoist, this could be a challenging thing to do. And I don't think there's any sort of shortcut around that. So, and actually I can kind of see the rubber movement in this now that they're talking about. Look, that rear section would be easy enough. I could probably get that off. The problem is I'm going to have to take it off again when I do this bit. I wonder if I can just take this one end off, pop that flange off and slide it out without having to take the whole shaft off. I'm going to check the paperwork and see if I can get away with that. But while I'm under here, I'm going to work out what size spanners and stuff I need. And they tell you to discard these lock nuts because they're Nylox. There's good reason for that. But these are probably going to be UNF or something like that. And I don't know if I'll be able to get any short notice. So, yeah. Alright, but it does, looking at the diagrams, there are several different variations on how these nuts work, so I think I've identified which ones we've got in here. That's good. I might have a look at the brake lines while I'm under here and see if I can clean them up a little bit and find out where they're supposedly weeping. I'll give the diffs a bit of a spray as well because they look like they've been weeping, and that'll tell me if they're actively weeping, which is nice. So I'm going to need to fix all of that at some point. Although I think this rear diff, this intermediate diff here is a bit of a lost cause. It's kind of black and greasy. All right, so like they say, prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. So I'm having a good look under here and trying to decide what I need to do so that I don't perform poorly. So yeah, I'll do a bit more thinking and I'll come up with a game plan and then we'll be back. Alright, so I've decided at the moment, because I can't get any extra hands to help me here, with multiple sclerosis and everything, this could be a bit of a risk. So I'm going to have a chat to a couple of the local mechanics, one of the ones I trust, see if they might be convinced to do the job for me. For them, with a hoist, it should be fairly quick. And I know one that's got a 4-post hoist that'll probably get this off the ground. So, yeah, I'm going to go see him and see what they can do for me. Alright, well, I'm just finished having a chat to the local mechanic. He's a good bloke, known him a long time. He said come back Monday. If he doesn't have the time, he might even still be able to lend me a hoist that'll pick this thing up. So that'll certainly help. So I guess in the meantime, I can look at some waterproofing and finding out where this water's coming in and stuff. And hopefully stop the mold and mildew catching up on this thing, because it's the time of year where mold grows. So we might do that, and then we'll be back Monday and figure out what happens. So yeah, let's get on home.
That's what happens. There's one thing I don't like about At least it's not going to fucking crush you if it fucking drops off the jet. Oh. Means I can probably call them up on Monday. You know, hey, if I can do the final inspection. Yeah. Get it done before Christmas, then I can process the transfer of ownership. Yeah, well, if that's all, if this is the only last thing left, yeah, you can. Was that? You got a bolt sort of hanging sideways this end. Yeah, well, that is stopping you from moving it forwards. So I just have to line up these holes. Yeah. Because they're not symmetrical.
Alright, where are we at? Stick our camera up here. So, it's now nighttime and a couple of days have passed and a lot's happened. So, it's not quite Monday yet, but the news is I don't have to go to the mechanic because my neighbour, turns out he's an ex-mechanic. A few bob his way, he came over and we pulled that whole drive shaft out, replaced the center bearing and the boot and everything. Didn't get much footage of it. He's not real partial being filmed, so wasn't about to try and sneak that in. Anyway, the tail shaft is done. The final roadworthy inspection is booked for a couple of days time. Also the same day I go and get another infusion for MS. So while I'm getting my arm pumped full of stuff, they can be inspecting the vehicle. I don't have to do the 1 hour's drive or about an hour and a half drive twice. I just do it the once. We should be roadworthy. I did find a couple of leaks through these vents at the top. Somebody in the past has put silicone around them, and the silicone's fallen off, and now it's actually forming a well, which is actually aiding the water getting in. So I've put a bunch of flashing tape over that, special foil coated stuff for the short term till I fix it properly. There is some water getting in through the air conditioning condenser as well. That's going to be a bigger problem. We've got Christmas in roughly a week, I think, off the top of my head. I'm losing track of the days at the moment, so probably the last we're really going to do with this for the week. You'll probably notice the lights currently work. Those two big 135 amp hour batteries are hooked up to the 24 volt system. I've now got a 24 volt charger in here with Bluetooth connectivity, one of the good Victron ones. It's good for about 16 amps. Solar is going to come after Christmas, as is the alternator for it. So all of that's going to come in later. I'm getting pretty short on funds. I've already thrown about an additional $5,000 into the whole process of getting this here and getting roadworthy stuff done and everything. I'm starting to run a bit short on cash. I'm having to pull a little bit more out of my TPD fund than I'd expected to do this. But hopefully, once we get that little extra bit of money in here, we'll be able to pull all these side bits out. Overall, I will have sunk about an additional $10,000 into this, leading to about $35,000 Australian for the whole project so far. No doubt there will be more money to spend on it. There always is with vehicles, but I'm going to try and sort of do things properly the first time, so I'm not wasting money. We're all full of tools and stuff. We've had to put mattresses back in here and stuff. It's a complete mess, and I'm going to have to pull a lot of this out. I'm maybe helping the neighbors probably move some stuff or something. I don't know. It's all up in the air. But yeah, so hopefully I'm going to chuck in a little bit of footage. I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this. I may have already put the footage in at this page, or I might put it in after this. I don't know. You'll see, probably you'll be looking at it right about now. So yeah, so anyway, the drive shaft's done. We're at this next step. Probably not much is going to pop up on the video before Christmas at this point. It'll be all afterwards. I'm pretty burnt out. You can hear my throat is pretty raspy, so had about enough of this, and I've had enough of this bloody grease gun losing its prime, so I'm about done. I'll see you all later. Blackout lights.